cast under his spell. Welcome, cursed ones.
Good evening, everyone. It's your worst nightmare and dream come true. I'm Adrian Hallowell, broadcasting live to you. And, I do apologize for being so late today. Thank you for the head pats, Naka. Yeah, today, along with the rest of this week, in case all of you who have been here every day of this week, which I do appreciate, in case any of you haven't noticed, it's been a very unpredictable week. And today was no different, unfortunately. Lots and lots going on. And just as a heads up before we get any further into this, yeah, something rather unpleasant and unexpected did pop up for tomorrow. That is, I'll say 95% going to keep me from streaming tomorrow, so we more than likely will not be reconvening tomorrow, sadly. And it may affect my plans for Saturday, so we'll see how that goes. I will update all of you in the Discord and potentially Blue Sky if it gets to that point. But we will see how it goes. Friday, it's a little early for me to be thinking about Friday, because that'll also depend upon how things go tomorrow. But, I know Callisto actually has her model debut on Friday, and I did want to be there, so I may not be live that day, unless she starts a lot later. Then maybe I could start a little earlier. We'll see. I gotta, talk to her and see when she will be going live that day, because I do want to be there to support her. But, all that being said, I hope all of you are doing well this evening. Thank you all for being here despite the later start time. Again, I really do apologize. It was not my intention at all, but things just did not work out the way I wanted them to, but they seem to rarely ever do. So, we do what we can, when and how we can. With that being said, I will probably try to keep the yapping to a minimum so we can actually get some decent game time in before I get too hungry and have to go to eat. And of course, attempt to get some rest for what will be yet another fairly early wake up tomorrow. No worries, 24-hour stream to compensate. One day. I just need a crazy enough game. But you know what? Speaking of a crazy enough game, Sally, did any of you happen to see just before I went live that Nintendo just did an abrupt direct out of nowhere and revealed a remake of Star Fox? That was rather unexpected. Actually, took a second to check that out. Yeah, they did a random abrupt direct with only, I think, 15 minutes warning through the Nintendo Today app, and revealed that they're remaking the first Star Fox, which technically they've done before, because Star Fox 64 is like a remake of the original game, and then, of course, they did Star Fox 64 3DS, and then Star Fox Zero on the Wii U was kind of a remake of it, so they do like retelling that story. However, it seems like it has a fairly big budget and there's a lot going into it. Nobody talks about Star Fox Adventures. Yeah, crazy that that was the last game Rare made with Nintendo as their at least partial owner. It looks fun. I've never played it before. It looks a lot like a Zelda game. I know it was kind of spun out of Dinosaur Planet, which was supposed to be an N64 game, and ended up becoming a Star Fox game. Hopefully that ends up on the NSO. That would be a fun stream. But the reason why I am particularly thrilled about the Star Fox news, I mean, it would be fun to play that, but as it turns out, there is a guy who is quite the reliable leaker, and he actually talked about this exact thing a few weeks ago, and said that there would be a surprise reveal of a Star Fox game and that it would be coming a lot sooner than people expect. And he was right, not just about the reveal being, you know, out of nowhere, not really part of any other direct event, but also the fact that the game is coming very soon. It's coming out in June, so not a whole long time to wait at all. Just 1 month, actually. But the exciting part about it is that this same leaker actually was the same guy who broke the news on Nintendo remaking The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. So, given that he was right about this, it does seem as though it might be fair to assume that is happening. And I guess it's not completely unexpected. They did mention in the Star Fox Direct that the reason why they did it this way is because it is in celebration of Star Fox's anniversary, and this is also an anniversary year for The Legend of Zelda. So, it fits, and I'm letting you all know right now that if it does in fact get announced, I don't think I'm going to be okay. That is my favorite game of all time, and my favorite series of all time, and that game does mean a lot to me in a lot of ways. So if they end up announcing that, that is going to be quite a moment for me. I'll be very interested to see how they handle it. Hope they give my boy Link a better ending in Ocarina of Time. It's the only Link in the series with a horrible life. Oh yeah. Yeah, poor Link. The hero of time has a hard life. Though I am curious as to how they're going to handle it. Because, like, a Star Fox remake, I mean, yes, they've done it before, so there's already precedence for it to kind of see how they would handle it. But, the original Star Fox being an on-rails shooter kind of makes the path clear for how to go about it. But with Ocarina of Time, I do wonder how they plan to update it. Are they going to maybe do it a, you know, as a straightforward update with just better graphics, AI, things like that? Actual AI, not, you know, generative AI, obviously. Or will they try to reimagine it in the style of the recent games? I don't want it to be an open world like Breath of the Wild. Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Because I don't really want it to be that way either. I'd still try it to see their, you know, vision of it, but I think the game is perfect as it is. I can, of course, admit that, yes, it's a Nintendo 64 game, and adding new graphics to it isn't going to change that, right? I don't think that the dungeons really need any changes. I'd be open to them updating them in some way. I mean, they already have in the 3DS version, and then we kind of got to see what harder versions of it would look like in the Master Quest. So it's not like they haven't updated the dungeons before, so I wouldn't be terribly upset about them changing some stuff around if they think it would be better for the quality of life. But I don't really feel like the dungeons need anything. I think the only part of the game that might need updating is just Hyrule Field, because it's so empty by comparison. Like, obviously when it came out, it felt grandiose and just massive, but compared to now, not so much. And it might be a little weird in potentially up to 4K graphics, just traversing a wide open field with nothing pretty much except the except Lon Lon Ranch. But I don't know. Yeah, the nostalgic part of me doesn't want them to change it. But on the other hand, I can see where there is room to add things, but I don't really know what they would do. So maybe they do a half step where that part of the game kind of resembles Breath of the Wild a little more, like they kind of lengthen Hyrule Field and fill it with more things to do, but then leave the towns and dungeons alone. Or maybe they kind of take some inspiration from like Twilight Princess and try to add more things in between in the field. I don't know. That honestly does kind of raise a question. It is certainly not as straightforward as you would think for something like this. And I'm very, very curious to see how they're going to handle it. I need the water temple to traumatize another generation. If Ocarina of Time Remake is a thing, then Majora's Mask is coming next for sure. I hope you're right. Because honestly, that is the game that needs it more. That is a game that definitely needs it more. Not that, like, I think Majora's Mask is broken in any way, but I have always felt that a remake of Majora's Mask could potentially do... I mean, it's Zelda, it's going to do big numbers anyway, but I just felt like it would be a defining moment for sure. I mean, those of you that have been here already know that obviously I am a massive horror fan, and clearly I enjoy gothic aesthetics and such. And Majora's Mask is such a wonderful marriage of both. And it is the oddest Zelda game in the best way. And for them to remake it would definitely be... I feel like it would help bring out the genius of the game even more. Again, you can get that by playing the N64 original, but I can understand that there are some aspects of the game that might feel a little bit less refined than Ocarina of Time, and that's just a byproduct of the rush schedule that they developed the game on. It definitely doesn't feel rushed and like it's, you know, glitchy or anything, because far from it. It's a very smooth, put-together game. Just more so that you can tell there are certain things that maybe could be ironed out a little bit better, with the benefit of going over it again with a fine-tooth comb. Speaking of Majora, I need to finish streaming it. Yes, you do. I'm actually, I do want to see that. So let me know if you ever return to that. Or rather, when you return to it. But, yes, that would be definitely a remake I would like to see. Because Majora's Mask has so many great visuals that, again, even though I do want a remake of Ocarina of Time just for the, you know, sake of my love for the game, it really doesn't need it. Majora's Mask does not need a remake to be a good game or better than it already is, but it would be the Zelda game that would benefit the most from a visual overhaul, purely because while there is definitely a charm to the original graphics and such, I'm not one of those people that needs modern graphics to enjoy something. But the art direction in that game is so powerful that I feel if they were to remake it faithfully to like the actual drawn artwork and stuff, it would be such a visually captivating game. And I have long felt like when they announced the movie that they're doing, which, you know, I'm still fearful for, as I think all of us Zelda fans are, I felt like the best thing that they could have done would have been a animated Majora's Mask film, either directed by or heavily inspired by Tim Burton. I feel like that would have been such a cool way to do it. It just has such a striking visual style that none of the other games in the series have, and if it couldn't be like a movie or whatever, then a full-blown remake with the level of graphical fidelity that I see them pouring into this Star Fox remake, depicting the characters and the environments and the style like exactly matching the concept art, would just be jaw-dropping. It really would be. Ocarina will always be my favorite, but Majora's story and deep lore is crying for a remake. I 100% agree, Sally. You are absolutely on the money there. Yeah, for sure. I would... yes, that is what I want. Badly. So I do hope that if the Ocarina of Time remake is real, I don't really think I need to pray for it to be a success. I'm sure it will be just off the nature of what it is. But I do hope that it ends up being a situation where they say, well, we might as well do Majora's Mask as well, and they don't turn it into a thing where we have to wait for the next anniversary to get it. Because I know Nintendo, kind of like Capcom with Resident Evil, likes to have a game in certain franchises every year, and even though it sounds like a lot, Nintendo is really good at spreading things out. So for example, if they want a Mario game every year, which they clearly do, it doesn't need to be a mainline Mario game. It could be Mario Party, it could be Mario Kart, it could be a Mario sports title. Just something with Mario on it, but you get a variety, so it never really feels like you're getting too much. And they've been doing that with Zelda as well. But mainly through things like Hyrule Warriors, which I do like. But if they took a few years off, like obviously I don't know when the next major Zelda game is coming. The next mainline game, you know, the sequel to Tears of the Kingdom. But I imagine it's probably not going to be for a little while. So let's just say that the next game doesn't come until 2028. I'm fine with next year's Zelda game being a Majora's Mask remake. So I kind of hope that they do what Capcom did with RE2 and RE3 and they kind of develop them at the same time so we don't have to wait very long. Just so long as they actually gave proper attention to Majora's Mask and not like what Capcom did with RE3. But I trust Nintendo a lot more in that regard because they do understand the value of their classic catalog more than I feel Capcom does at times. And more budget than Pokemon. Oh yeah, I don't think you have to worry about that. If you look at the trailer for the Star Fox remake, I think it just goes to show if they're throwing that kind of money at Star Fox, I don't think there's a chance in hell that Zelda gets anything less than that kind of treatment. I've said it before, but I think the major issue with the Pokemon stuff is really Game Freak and the Pokemon Company. I think that's the major hang-up with regards to that series. And has been for a long time. Game Freak are definitely kind of odd in the way they handle things. But yeah, hopefully that happens. I would be really, really excited about that. And, you know, if Ocarina of Time is really getting a remake, which I do feel is pretty much confirmed at this point because pretty much nobody was looking for, you know, a Star Fox remake at this point. And this guy, he called it perfectly. Whoa, hey, welcome in, Shu. Thank you for the raid. Hold on, let me give you a shout out. Thank you, Sally. I have to figure out how to get the one where it pops up. No, I think you did it. Yeah, you did it right. I don't know what's going on with my Nightbot not doing it properly. Because, yeah, it did the shout-out, but I wanted to do that. But yes, welcome in, Shu. How are you? How was your stream? What were you playing? And welcome in to the rest of the raiders. If you do not know me, I am Adrian Hallowell. I am a Cursed Witch VTuber. Right now we're just chatting, but I am going to be playing Master Detective Archives Raincode, which is a investigation detective game by the creator of Danganronpa. So if that sounds fun, then if you stick around for a little bit, that is what we will be playing. But if you must go, please make sure that you do all of your post-stream self-care needs. Get something to eat, you know, take a nap, or go to sleep. I don't know what time it is in your time zones, but yeah, please do whatever you have to take care of yourselves. And thank you for dropping by to say hi to all of us, because I do appreciate it. Yes, welcome in, Chu, the MLG Pro Gamer. Please, by all means, tell us how stream went. And what you were up to. We were just talking about the Star Fox remake that just got announced out of nowhere, completely out of the blue, and what it could mean for other remakes, including a potential Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. And just kind of fantasizing a little bit. And actually, the next thing I was going to say, did some 3D art in Apex Legends. I do want to see what your 3D art looks like. I have to go buy the VOD and see that. I've done some 3D art before, but I'm by no means an artist, so it's mostly just like recreations of objects or certain things. I just started, so it's mid, but I'm learning. I mean, I feel like it's definitely got to be better than mine, at the very least, so I'd like to check it out for sure. Have you posted it anywhere, or is it only in your streams? Like, have you posted it maybe in Sushi's Discord? Because if so, I would like to go and check it out. But if not, I will. I'll check out your VOD later, so I can see it. That is also a really good skill to pick up for a lot of different reasons. I know when you take a look at, say, Kane Pixels, I don't know if you know about the Backrooms internet series that is getting its own movie, which I'm very much looking forward to. It's coming out this month. That kid did his own series just through Blender. So having like the skill of doing 3D art and stuff like that could actually open up a new avenue of expression if you wanted to do like 3D films and stuff like that. Could be really, really cool. I think I posted a frog I made for Sushi in her Discord, I think Hobbies. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, I'll check it out. Wow, my boy Falco looking good. Yeah, it looks great, right? Yeah, the Star Fox remake looks really cool. I've seen some people that were like complaining a little bit about the art style, but I mean, they've remade that game in a more cartoony style a few times now. I do like that they're doing something different with the visuals. I'm fine with it. Might as well. And a little monster I made. Okay, let me see if I can actually see that here. Hold on. Sometimes my OBS doesn't like it when I look at Discord while using it. But let's see if I can get through this without it tanking my frame rate. Or my frame rate. Let's see. Hobbies. Where are you? Okay, I see it. Okay, I am looking for your post. Still looking, but I did see that Ponyo drew you as a pug. It's a very cute drawing. Let's see. Oh, I see the frog. That is adorable, Chew. And actually, that's very, very good. I like that you put a little Monster Energy logo there on the lily pad. That is very, very fitting for Sushi. Very well done. And the eyes on the fly are cute too. I like how it has googly eyes. It kind of looks like something out of like Banjo-Kazooie. If you know that game, all of the enemies kind of look like they have like googly eyes, and that's what it kind of reminds me of. It's very cute, very well done. I'm definitely excited to see how much you improve over time as you continue to work on your 3D art, because this is already a really good start. Chu indeed proving that he is an MLG pro at things other than gaming as well. Well, I guess I should just say pro. MLG would imply gaming. Yes, take the praise. Silence. If only Sushi was here right now to back me up. You are most certainly not poo. Yes, it is a very, very good start for sure. Taken from somebody that has also attempted to do 3D art, as I have said, and definitely started further, much further below that level. I was definitely better at making objects and environments than I was like animals, and definitely not people. So definitely a good start to be able to recreate some animals and insects and stuff like that. I know Naka is such a good song. But yes, aside from talking about Star Fox and Zelda and whatnot, something I can't believe I forgot to mention yesterday was that they released a full trailer for Evil Dead Burn. And my god, it looks fantastic. For those of you who are also into horror, I do recommend checking out the trailer. I was quite fascinated because the director behind this one had mentioned that he wants to try doing a different kind of Evil Dead movie, namely one that would have less blood all over the place, because the movies are notoriously blood-soaked. Very splatterhouse horror. And he wanted to do something that would be more violent in a less bloody way, so like injuries that would be more grotesque to look at without tons of blood, so like think broken bones and such. And while we definitely do see that in the trailer, it still looks like it is going to get very bloody, which I'm very happy about. And the overall framing of the story and setting and stuff looks like it is going to be very unique for an Evil Dead film. It's a little similar to Evil Dead Rise in the sense of like that it seems like it's following a family rather than just a, you know, disconnected group of friends like in the original. But that's about the only similarities I kind of see there. Everything else looks like it is going to be completely different, and I really do like that, while still retaining some of the things that you expect. Of course, the Deadites, the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, and the Invisible Force all seem like they're going to be there. So I am quite excited to see it. And there were some gnarly little sequences that they included in the trailer. Like there's one portion where there's a dishwasher open, and they have the forks and knives in the little pockets for the utensils, but they're sticking up, and somebody trips and falls, and their back lands directly on it. Yeah, there's going to be some gnarly sequences in there. Very, very much looking forward to it. Very exciting stuff. This has not been a great year in general, but art and media-wise, it's kind of been on a different level. Like, so many good games have been coming out, and games that look really good. We've had Resident Evil Requiem, Tomodachi Life, Mouse P.I. We got the Star Fox remake coming now, potentially a remake of Ocarina of Time. I know there was another big game that came out recently as well that I'm forgetting just because so much stuff has been coming out. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how much has been releasing recently. Oh yeah, Pragmata. And that's not even the last game Capcom has to release this year. They still have to release Onimusha, which hopefully will turn out good as well. So yeah. Welcome in, Augustine. My hat is yours as usual. Yeah, I just saw the trailer and they opened the money gates for this one. Oh, for Star Fox? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It is very high fidelity. And it seems like they're including a lot of different things in it as far as like modes and stuff like that. So, yeah. If they're going this far for Star Fox, I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell that a Ocarina of Time remake would get anything less than that kind of budget, if not triple that. You know what I mean? So I'm not too worried about them half-assing a Ocarina of Time remake, just rather what direction they take with it. That'll be the big question. But I think this Star Fox game definitely proves that Nintendo is not going to skimp on giving the developers the amount of financial support they need to make the game that they want them to make. Which is good. That is exactly what we want. Yippee. Yes, I absolutely loved the sketch you did, Augustine, of me in front of the conspiracy board. That was perfect. I laughed so hard when I saw that. I'm also glad to hear that you're getting more work done on your background. I hope that means that you've recovered a little bit. I know you were dealing with some pain. So that is good to hear. I also happen to hear that evidently, as you know, Microsoft has had a bunch of different changes to the Xbox team, and there is a new woman at the helm, and she's been saying a lot of the right things. I mean, I'm not invested in Xbox anymore and haven't been since the 360 days, but you know, it is not a good thing to have another Sega happen, that is, you know, have a third company drop out of the race, because we do need as much competition as possible to make things better for us as fans, not even just from a quality of games standpoint, but also to have them keep each other in check as far as greed goes. The less competition you have, the more opportunities there is for companies to take advantage of the consumer, because they don't feel like they have to worry about competition, which is what you do not want. So I do want the Xbox division to recover, even though that seems kind of impossible at this point, but she's saying the right things. Whether she'll actually follow up on that, who knows? But I did see something that they're doing very shortly is they are adding a new boot up sequence to the Xbox, and apparently it's going to be like, they already released what it looks like. Nothing will ever touch the level of cool that the original Xbox had with its boot up sequence, in terms of, at least, you know, from the Xbox consoles at least. But it does look cool, and I do like that they apparently are bringing the console color back to green instead of white. It's a small change, but definitely one I appreciate. Yeah, I finally have been able to get some more done. I'm really happy to hear that, Augustine. How much more time do you presume, just off the top of your head, like estimating, do you think you're going to need to finish it? No worries, the Bank of America apparently is super knowledgeable in games and game prices. They'll set us right. Yeah. As if. Yeah, I do really hope that Rockstar just ignores them. Because, truth be told, nothing is too big to fail. I know people think that GTA is too big a series to fail, but the reality is, this will be the first Grand Theft Auto, I think, made without the original creators. So, there is room for error. They also run the risk of potentially overstepping their boundaries in terms of, we all know GTA Online made infinite amounts of money, and they're going to want to do the same thing with GTA 6's online. But if they come out swinging right off the bat with overly predatory stuff, it could send the wrong message. So, you know, while I don't think... I'll put it this way, it would take a lot for Grand Theft Auto 6 to fail. But a perfect storm of poor technical performance, overly predatory online, and then the potential of the game costing up to $100, like apparently Bank of America wants, could definitely be the thing that throws stuff in jeopardy. There have been other franchises that have been quite massive throughout history, not just in gaming, but also, you know, in film, television, etc., that have fallen to greed. So, I'm not one that personally believes there's no chance GTA 6 could stumble if they don't do it right. So, hopefully Rockstar is aware of that and realizes probably better to play it safe, at least in the areas of pricing, and not get too greedy, but you never put it past a company, so it really depends on how well I can focus shaking my head. No, I totally understand that. Believe me, I have a sonnet I've been writing for a long time that I have not completed just because I've been busy and unable to really sit down and think too much about it, so I get it. Among other projects that I've been trying to work on. Have you seen that game that some pissed off fans of Elder Scrolls are making? The ad is hilarious. No, I haven't. You could send it to me if you want on Discord or put it in the gaming channel, however you prefer. But yeah, I haven't seen that. I actually did see something I meant to post in the Discord. In fact, did I already copy the link to it? It looks like a funny game, based on the whole idea of isekai. We were playing as the truck driver of the truck that always runs over isekai protagonists. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's called Truck-kun is supporting me from another world, and it looks hilarious. Definitely a strange concept, but it kind of reminds me a little bit of something like Katamari Damacy. Just a bit. They go like, fuck you, Todd Howard, Elder Scrolls 6 is taking too long, we're making our own moral weapon. Yeah, Elder Scrolls 6 is taking a very long time, isn't it? That is funny, though, and I'm glad to hear that in the sense of, I wish more fans would try to kind of make their own take on things. Like, I don't want it to be exact copies, but there's nothing that can't be, you know, improved. Nothing is ever perfect. So it's kind of fun to see fans make their own things with their own takes on stuff. Like, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is to Jet Grind Radio, or Jet Set Radio, depending on what region you live in. But yeah, I haven't played the game yet. I really do want to. That is something I have earmarked for the future. But that's just an example of what I mean. Having fans kind of do their own take on beloved franchises and stuff, with less of the shackles that, you know, big budget games have with needing to appeal to everybody and being focus tested to death, stuff like that. Obviously the big bottleneck is budget for indie developers, but they can usually do more interesting things with regards to story, character design, and just the freedom in how they present things compared to a big budget release that might play it too safe. Of course, it's not always the case. There's plenty of times where I feel that you know, like indie games that are clearly inspired by a specific fandom do suffer for being too close to it. The army of PT clones is an example, as well as the never-ending Souls-likes. But I'm not really a Souls game fan, so that's just a personal thing for me. But yeah, a lot of games trying to do that, and I feel like there are a few of them that really get it right. The one that I thought was cute and did a pretty decent job, at least from the gameplay I saw, at doing something different with the idea was Another Crab's Treasure, I think it was called. Which was a Souls-like, but it was meant to be more like family-friendly and cute, but still retaining like the same kind of like difficulty and stuff like that. Another game with like a environmental kind of message from what I saw. looked really interesting. And then, of course, this is not an indie game, but definitely obviously inspired was Lies of P, which I really liked the visual style of it and the fact that they took inspiration from Pinocchio. I guess more than just inspiration, it pretty much is Pinocchio, but as a Souls-like, which is a very unique way to go about it. So yeah, it really just kind of depends on the developer and their general vision for how they want to interpret their favorite kind of works. I return, I have acquired food. We do love to hear that here. When cursed ones are eating and taking care of themselves. So that makes me happy to hear, Augustine. What kind of food did you get? It is in quotation marks, so that is a little worrying, but... Have you had food? Yes, I did. It was a while ago, but yes, I did eat. A fed cursed is a happy cursed and a happy me. Exactly. Yes, precisely. Well said, Sally. Sent you the trailer? Okay. Let me see if I can actually check it out here. Oh. Sorry, chat, I'm just watching this game trailer that Sally sent me. Okay, just finished. That looks funny. It looks good. I mean, at least from what they're saying they want to do with it, and it is hilarious that it leaned into what I was just saying about everybody else making an endless army of Souls-like games. Kind of funny to see that immediately after I myself was discussing that phenomenon. It's food because it's technically a meal replacement shake, but it's basically a meal. Yeah, I'd say that's valid. Yeah, as long as you're getting the, you know, the proper nutrients, that definitely counts. What game? It's called, oh wait, okay, never mind. Sally just put it in the Discord so you can actually see it for yourself. It's a shame that I don't have a proper PC, because if I did, it would be fun to do a co-op stream of that with you, Sally. But I don't trust that my PC would be able to run it without issue. Sadly. That is something I really, really need. But is unfortunately quite cost prohibitive. But I guess we'll see what the future holds. I'd call my character Toad Howard and kill it all the time. But yes, we have been chatting for a little while. As I said, we don't want to chat too long because I already got off on a rather late start. So we will go ahead and get to our pre-game tarot card pull. And then we're going to play some Master Detective Archives Raincode. Hopefully, at the very least, we'll be able to finish this case. Did you guys catch the nail killer yesterday? Yes, actually, so here's the interesting thing. I did figure out who the killer was, and managed to, like, point him out and whatnot. The problem is, apparently, there's more to the case. A potential accomplice? Was it the nun? No, it was the priest. So I actually psychologically profiled the killer perfectly, because he went on this whole monologue, and basically all of his motivations was exactly what I said I would believe the killer's motivations to be. Which made me very proud that I was able to do that. But yeah, the killer seems to be the priest, but the third crime scene, the one where the woman was murdered at the art museum, seems like it might be a different person. So cool and smart. Welcome in, Emerald, and thank you. I really do appreciate that. I certainly didn't feel cool and smart. I felt like I was kind of bumbling around, but that definitely made me very happy that I was able to figure that out based on that. This trailer is great. Yeah, it is really funny, isn't it, Augustine? Hope you're doing well today, Emerald. Now we need to play Town of Salem. Is that another, like, social deduction game? Because you've mentioned it before, and I haven't had the chance to check it out. I'm assuming it's a thing kind of like Among Us, but maybe with a with witches. Because that would, of course, naturally be a fit. But yeah, I do want to play a social deduction game with all of you. You and Callisto both with the government name. I did like the nuns at the nail man soundbite though. Yeah, me too. I'm telling you, the nun reminds me of Juri Han from Street Fighter. You play with people. It's a town with different roles. Each night, someone gets hanged, and either mafia, witches, or villagers win. There's a board game that's like it. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Then I'll try to look into it and see what I can do, because I would like to play that by the sounds of it. Could be really fun. The nun in Japanese also has nice line delivery. Really, I have to hear that. But yeah, it was the priest, and his intentions, or his modus operandi, was pretty much exactly what I expected it to be. But the art museum murder is going to be interesting, because apparently it seems like it might have been a different killer, which would track, because that's the only murder in which somebody used blunt force trauma to kill the victim, and did not spread a bunch of dolls around the scene. There was one doll at the scene of the crime, but that was it. They instead put nails in a bunch of pictures. And now that we know how the killer actually did that crime, there's no reason why they couldn't have brought some dolls with them. So it definitely seems like someone that was trying to make us believe it was the nail man, but was a completely different person. So I'm curious as to what we're going to find as we continue to dive into the case, which is what we'll be doing immediately after the tarot card reading. If we play a social deduction game, I'd love to join. I'd love for you to be there, and yes, that is actually one of the things I wanted to do for the game night on Saturday, potentially, if it still happens. I wanted to at least play Among Us, and yeah, I feel like that would be really fun. If we play... wait, I just read that. I meant to read the next one. It's always the priest. Yeah. I just know you're going to win every game. I think she would be really good at it too. Not at all. Well, not that great at it if I don't know the group. Well, you never know. But I don't think anybody would be making the Danganronpa mistake where one person keeps figuring out who all of the killers are and they never think to just kill that guy, so maybe they have a better chance at getting away with it. That has never been my experience. If I figure it out, then all of a sudden everybody's killing me first. Next game. That sounds like the words of someone who's gonna kick my ass and then be nice about it. There's also one called Unfortunate Spaceman, based on The Thing, where the monster can change form and take each player's. Oh, that sounds really cool. I am a big fan of The Thing. So that sounds pretty cool, actually. And I feel that would be really funny, like, just to see what people would say to each other if they thought you were that specific person. I could see some very unintentionally comedic moments spawning from that. I've seen that when people play like Lethal Company and they have the mimics come out, whether the ones that are already in the games or in the mods, where they actually take your voice and stuff like that. And it's always really funny when you see people have that light bulb moment go off when they realize that they're not actually talking to the person they think they are. But yes, let's go ahead and read today's card so we can keep yapping as I try to solve the case of the second killer. So today's tarot card is the Seven of Pentacles reversed. Now this is going to be kind of a bit of a bad luck card, but again, as usual, there are always multiple ways to take things. This can be more of a encouragement, so to speak, but yeah, no overwhelmingly happy message for today, which I guess is kind of fitting for me personally, but yeah, let's get into it. So first and foremost, the Seven of Pentacles reverse can indicate a bit of misfortune in some of your endeavors, which could range anywhere from you not exactly getting the results that you hope for, to a bit of a sign that you are getting in your own way. So we'll start with that. In that particular interpretation, you may be rather scatterbrained, so you might have something that you've been trying to put a lot of effort into achieving, but you're not quite getting there because your efforts had been uneven. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's been the result of, say, being lazy or neglecting what you're trying to do, but rather, you may just not be putting effort into the right areas. If that makes sense. And given that this is a Pentacles card, this will especially pop up if you are investing a lot of money into a particular project. Now, it doesn't have to only mean that, but it could also be something that you personally view as valuable as money, which your time could definitely apply in this case. Or just a general effort, you know, it takes a lot to put yourself into something that you're really trying to accomplish, so even if you're not really investing money in it, the emotional toll that it takes on you to try to make something that you may not be happy with the quality of can feel just as painful as investing a lot of money and not making it back. So it doesn't have to literally mean that, but Pentacles cards are usually indicative of a financial investment of some kind or a financial consequence, etc. I'm sure you understand what I mean. So, yeah, you may not be investing your time or efforts in the right ways, and as a consequence, what you've been trying to accomplish is not coming together, and it could be frustrating you very much, to the point where if it is related to something that you typically enjoy, it might be ruining your enjoyment of that particular field. So, you know, in this case, since we do have a lot of artists in the chat, art is definitely a field I would say this could apply to. You may find yourself not enjoying it very much because of the difficulties you are having, despite the fact that, say, drawing or creating art, you know, whatever kind of art you work with, usually being a joyful experience for you. Yeah, it's not limited to art. I'm just using an example of art as a potential avenue for which this could apply to. But it's not only that. Just basically the example being, if there's something that you typically do enjoy working with, investing your time in, and potential, money, and you're not really making the progress that you want, or things aren't turning out well, it could be hampering your enjoyment of that particular thing that normally brings you joy. I just find art to be a very handy example because most of the time, people do enjoy creating art. This can apply to other things, but you get the point. So as a result, like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be taken in an overtly negative way. You can take it as a sign that you need to take a step back and reroute your course. Look at what you are investing in, either monetarily or with your time and energy, and if it's not bringing you the results that you want, then you need to replan things and try to figure out what you should be investing your time, energy, or money into that's going to get you closer to your desired goal and outcome, since what you've been doing so far hasn't been working out for you. So try not to get frustrated, but try to figure out what the right approach is. Think of it like working on a puzzle. You may not be able to figure out the portion that you started with, so maybe put those pieces down and grab another set and try to figure out a different part of that image you're trying to recreate. You know what I mean? The thing about this that's hard to do is that, again, it doesn't have to mean this, but since the Pentacles cards usually involve money, if you've made a significant investment so far into something, like say a business, and you've been maybe promoting it a certain way and it's not working out the way you hope, obviously money doesn't grow on trees, so saying, hey, take a step back and try a different method is easy to say out loud, but difficult to achieve when you have a limited budget. So the frustration lingering would be understood, but hopefully you are in a position where you can kind of regroup and take a different approach. The other thing about this that's interesting is it could actually be a warning to stop altogether. Because maybe what you're trying to do is just not meant to be. That doesn't mean, again, to stop in whatever field you're trying to do, but there might be something that you're missing that this card is trying to warn you to take a complete step back and understand where you're lacking that you need to improve before you keep trying to, no pun intended to the game we're about to play, but before you keep trying to hammer that specific nail. Checks time and hours pass. Oh no. Hold on. I didn't miss the stream yet. Welcome in, Bulgay. Yeah, no worries. We're just getting to the tarot card reading, and then we're going to start the actual game, so you're just in time. But, the important thing about the interpretation that I just covered there, with kind of knowing when to maybe pull back entirely, is that this can actually apply to relationships with other people. It doesn't necessarily have to mean, give up on, say, again, your art endeavors or a business endeavor. It could mean there's somebody in your life that you're investing so much into that it can feel like you're putting money into them, or it could literally be money that you are investing into a person, and you're not receiving any of the effort in return that you are putting in, sometimes in, monetary or other ways that are just as important as money. And this could be a sign that you need to pull back away from that person. So if you find yourself listening to this and it's like, hey, I don't really align with the idea that, I'm not working on any hobbies where I'm really putting myself into it to a degree where I feel like I'm suffering. This could also have to do with a specific relationship with a person or group. So you do need to also keep that in mind. So if you happen to feel that way about anybody in your life, then it might be worth examining why you do feel that way. And, you know, if you find that it's more painful than anything or draining, whether that's on your finances or your emotional state to interact with that person, don't get caught up in the sunk cost fallacy. And I think that's another way to kind of look at this as well, whether we're talking about a specific endeavor, you know, that's pertaining to a hobby or business thing that is draining your wallet or your energy to the point where it's killing you, or a relationship that is doing the same thing. That's where, you know, you might be compelled to give up. It's not telling you to give up on your dreams or anything, but rather try not to get yourself to a point where you make yourself sick or, you know, ruin yourself financially or whatever by over-investing in something that isn't bringing you joy and is potentially, you know, maybe not the right time for what you're trying to do, because you do need to learn some things first, whether it's having certain life experiences first or skills you need to pick up so you can make that thing you're working on a success. So it's kind of a cut your losses card, but again, it can also be a regroup card. Take a step back and look at where you need to reinvest your time, money, whatever. The relationship interpretation doesn't align for me, but the scenario does make me sad for whoever applies to. Yeah. I mean, it can always, you know, you can always take a lot of these definitions and find something in your life that it will apply to in some way or another, even if it may not be that severe. Like, I think, a lot of times when people do tarot or they have their questions answered by tarot and such, I think they sometimes tend to over-catastrophize the answers that they get, not understanding that the definitions don't always have to be dire. Like, not everything has to be like DEFCON 1. Like, for myself, for example, if I look at this card, I could definitely see, for instance, you know, from a perspective looking at, like, my VTuber self, maybe I haven't made the progress that I wanted to in certain areas, and I've definitely invested financially into this. You know what I mean? Not to say, like, I'm disappointed or anything, but I'm just saying, like, on some level where I've noticed, hey, I might be lacking compared to my peers, or there are certain things that I need to improve upon that, hey, maybe I should stop investing in this, and maybe my time is better spent doing that. It can apply in that way. You know, it doesn't always have to be a dire interpretation. You'll definitely know, I think. Universe always calling me out and shit. Like when I get the Ten of Swords. Yeah, Ten of Swords is definitely not a card you want to get unless it's in reverse, and even that can be... it can be pretty heavy, but usually, you know, definitely a much better interpretation. But yeah, Ten of Swords is... the Ten of Swords is a card a lot of people think death is. Especially when it's paired with the Tower. Ten of Swords can actually mean you or somebody is gonna die. Got it before my divorce. Yeah. Yeah, that's a case where, yes, something like that would make a lot of sense. Something reaching its absolute end, and I am sorry to hear about that, Volgay. So, yeah, that's actually a pretty illustrative example of a time where a specific card can actually be as bad as you fear it to be, but oftentimes I will say it's not usually that bad. It's okay, I did lose a lot, but I'm still here. Yes. Damn right. And that is important to keep sight of. And that's why, you know, tarot is something that I've said this a billion times. I can be very repetitive, and I do apologize for that, but that is why tarot is very helpful, in my opinion, because you're never going to get a reading... you're never going to get a reading that is meant to just hurt you. A lot of times, even if it is foretelling something bad, You're being warned and shown these things so that you understand that there is a path forward, especially if you specifically ask for advice on how to get through these tough times. There's always a path forward, and these messages are here to help you. The only time where you're going to get something that might be antagonistic is if you keep asking the same question over and over again, when you've already been told, you know, what to understand or what you need to know about a situation. Or when you are ungrateful and belligerent in your manner of asking, and then you might get something you don't want to hear told to you in a way that you're not going to like. But unless you are that type of person, and I don't think anybody here is that way, more often than not, yeah, you're never going to get a reading that is meant to hurt you. And I do like your attitude very much on it, Bolgay, because it is true. And, you know, with the amount of great relationships that you forged with people, just through this avenue, meaning Twitch, you know, as a platform, it does make me happy to see that you have a lot of people who see your value and your worth and aren't, you know, aren't like that person trying to put you down and whatnot. And that in itself is incredibly valuable to show that even when something feels like you kind of reach that end, it's never truly the end. Oh, I see. Then I can think of a few things. Yeah, you'd be surprised how many times you can get a reading that may not feel like it applies very much at first, and then if you do a little bit of thinking, or sometimes it'll just kind of jump out in front of you, you'll kind of see where it could, in fact, pertain to you. In fact, even just sitting here, I thought of another thing where it could actually apply to myself, specifically, beyond just, you know, my VTubing stuff. So, one that actually aligns with a frustrating moment I had earlier, so, yeah, if anything, that tells me I do need to stop investing in something, so, yeah, anyway, that is today's tarot card reading. Once again, not the brightest and cheery, but, again, take it more as a warning. Not necessarily one that means you're wasting your time right now, but maybe one that is just encouraging you to take a different approach to something that you're doing at the moment, so that you don't end up feeling frustrated and like you've wasted your time, money, or other form of effort. Could be a warning that saves you a lot of frustration. So I do hope that that was at least somewhat helpful to some of you. And we will finally go ahead and get to the game now, an hour and 16 minutes into the stream. Alright, let us move over. No worries, Sally, take your time. Okay, here we are. Now hopefully everything holds out, but for those of you not in my Discord server, I did make a post letting all of you know that a lot of the issues I've been having with the internet have actually been the fault of my ISP. As I theorized. But I can't really do anything about it, and it's on them to handle it. So, until they finally handle it, we're at the mercy of poor internet service, so hopefully it holds out. Thank you for the reading. Of course, Emerald. Anytime. Yeah, oof indeed. I am glad at least that it's not, yeah, exactly, Emerald. At least the issue was found and confirmed, yes. Yeah, I'm just glad I don't have to drive myself crazy with OBS thinking I'm doing something wrong when it was, in fact, out of my hands. Ah, yes, Blue Sky, thank you. Thank you so much. Alright, the post is up. Sounds like Adrian is talking directly to them. Fixes now, you little shits. I mean, It is not the first time something like this has happened before. It is very frustrating. I think I've mentioned it before, but that is where I actually have kind of a inside joke where I always say I forgot to deposit 25 cents into my my router.
I see. So the cause of death for the victim of the art gallery storage is the only one that's different.
Right. The victims in the other locked rooms were all strangled to death.
Now, if only I could figure out what to do about the issue with my capture card audio. But one thing at a time.
All had strangulation marks and scratches. Offensive wounds. The victim in the third locked room had strangulation marks, but no signs of resisting. There's also evidence of blunt trauma to the head, which can be considered the fatal blow.
The marks could have been made after the victim died, so as to appear as if strangulation was the cause of death.
Exactly. Now the thing I'm curious about is... was blunt force trauma the method of murder as a result of desperation? Or out of hatred? Because that definitely is a much more personal and violent way of killing somebody, usually associated with a personal grudge that somebody has against the victim. Let's see if you remember details. Oh god. Don't count on it.
The real cause of death is blunt force trauma.
Alright, we have a block coming up. Yeah, the bitrate definitely does not like those little transitions.
Here's another obstacle, but it's likely to be an insignificant one. Yuma, let's solve the mystery and move on.
Right!
Static does it to streams, yeah. How is the cause of death made to look like strangulation? Mark of a copycat.
Right here!
A very lazy copycat at that. That's why I was curious, because the only way that it made sense...
Strangulation was faked, to imply this crime had the same perpetrator as the other 3 incidents. By making the crime scene as similar as possible, it appeared like the mailman was responsible for an unrelated murder.
Right.
Which means this was a copycat crime.
I agree.
Yeah, so... the only way it would have made sense to me for that particular murder being the priest was if there was some, like, really difficult way of creating that particular locked room, or if he had a harder time killing that specific victim because she fought back or tried to escape, etc. But, again, nothing at the crime scene really implied that much of a struggle. So, it kind of makes me err more on the side of a personal grudge against that particular victim, or at least that particular victim's actions. Once again, kind of implying that this person has a specific hatred, in this case for, I guess... I got the choppy audio. For somebody who is either unfaithful, or, I guess, more readily able to obtain relationships, we'll say. Because the whole thing with that particular victim was that she had, like, a lot of different, like, boyfriends and stuff like that. due to her good looks and whatnot. So that makes me think either this person was jealous, they were one of the people that was in a relationship with her, or just has a particular hatred for that kind of person. Hence the more hands-on and violent method of killing compared to the strangulation. Which is quite violent in and of itself, of course, but it does seem to imply that there was some distance between the victim and the killer, or at least the priest and how he was doing it, but then again, honestly, I don't know, because we didn't really get to see an approximation of how he did it, but... Alright, before I step over there, because I'm assuming it looks like they're gonna make me pick the killer again. Let me go over the case file. Like the other victims, there are signs of strangulation but no wounds from resisting. There are also signs of blunt force trauma to the back of the head. That wound is deep and may point to the real cause of death. A doll nailed to a cloth canvas. One nail is driven into the head and another into the chest. The key to the room is also nailed on with the nail in the chest. Nail is driven into the portrait, perhaps in place of a doll. 2 keys can open the door to the art gallery storage room. At the time the body was discovered, one of them was inside the room. The other key was in the possession of an art gallery employee and was used to open the door at the time of discovery. The vent window opens outward, but the gap is only about 5 centimeters wide. There are no suspicious traces on it, and it would be impossible to enter or exit from. And then right here, at the time the body was discovered, someone from the church tried to enter and knocked over a paint can. The art gallery employee claims he was the one who unlocked the door, but was too afraid to open it. Instead, he watched from behind as a person from the church opened the door. When that person opened the door, he stopped at the sight of the victim. That was when the paint can was knocked over. The person from the church, who the art gallery staff member is referring to, is likely the worshipper who always discovers the victims. And that is all of the... Can't save now. Okay. That's all of the details we have about that particular murder. Alright, time to be put on the spot.
Among the string of nailman killings, there could be some that were done by copycat criminals.
That has to be why the mystery labyrinth still remains, even after discovering the nailman's identity. So who is the copycat criminal?
Indeed, we need to uncover this imposter's identity.
All right.
Why is a kid an option?
Copycat crew? What the hell? I'll kill your ass!
I mean, that incriminates you by threatening the detective, by the way, with violence. Literally nothing to say.
No, it's not me.
I told you already. I have nothing to do with this.
Okay, so let me think about this. So we know how the person in question, if you look, the kid has tears in his eyes. Yeah, I noticed. If it turns out to be the kid, I'm going to be very, very confused, but I definitely don't think it is. But yes, thinking about this, we don't have a whole lot to go off of in terms of what the motive could be. Once again, I speculate that this person has a potential particular grudge against either that woman or the type of person that she was. I would wager more so on the type of person she was, since she yeah, they didn't really make a big deal about her identity in particular. We didn't get a lot of information about her, just that she was someone that was basically leading a lot of different men on. Now again, that immediately leads me to believe either a personal slight to someone who may have been one of the people she was seeing. So one of the boyfriends, essentially. Or someone who was quite jealous of her for being able to do that. On the other hand, given that it is a copycat crime, it does make me think that it could be someone who is a fanatic of the Nail Man and wanted to submit their own take, if you will, on the killings, which would imply this guy right here. The problem is, I don't think a fanatic would get such would get such obvious details wrong. They did include one doll, but for somebody that is completely obsessed with the case like this guy is, I don't see him not dumping a bunch of dolls everywhere. Especially since we know that they were able to freely enter the room. Submit their own take, dear God. Yeah, you'd be surprised how often that is a motive for certain people to do things, especially when it comes to mass killings. They view it like a high score kind of thing, which is completely fucking demonic, but yes, it is definitely a motivation for copycats. Maybe not the only one, but it is definitely one that is up there. So it wouldn't surprise me if that did apply in this particular case. But maybe I'm wrong, because the only thing that makes me confused about this particular guy right here, is a detail about him spilling the paint cans over when he entered the room. Which, we don't really have any significance to that. I still don't understand that particular detail. Like, what relevance it has. It makes me think that maybe it covers up something that would have been there otherwise invisible to investigators, but I don't know. But right now, I'm going to presume it's not him just because he is such a... That's what Yuma said when he found the paint can knocked over? Yeah. But what could it have been? Then Halara said don't assume or something. So potentially a red herring, just a genuine accident, maybe. But I don't know. We'll think it over. But I don't think it's this guy. Just mainly because if he is a fanatic... Well, See, this is what I mean when I say I tend to overthink, because we can look at this two ways. Number one, if we think straightforward, it can't be him because, as a fanatic, he wouldn't make these kinds of mistakes as far as framing the actual Nailman killer, the priest, because he got to see all of the ways that he did everything. Not dumping a bunch of dolls everywhere and then nailing them to the wall or the floor or whatever already kind of helped to give away that it was a very different kind of killing. It's one of the biggest clues that we had that it was not the same person that we were investigating from the start. And I don't think somebody that was fully committed to, you know, obsessing over this killer, I don't think they would make that mistake. But alternatively, maybe you would want to do that so that way someone like me would assume that and throw them off of your scent even more. Especially when the public-facing persona you've been giving everyone is that you are obsessed with this killer. That would certainly be a good way to knock someone off your scent, wouldn't it? I mean, I'm literally sitting here saying it kind of disqualifies him, so... There's solid evidence which points at the true copycat. Okay. So let me go over it, just vocalize all of this out loud, so maybe I'll talk myself into it, perhaps.
No, it's not me.
I can't even think of a reason why it would be this man right here. Well, actually, there is one thing, and that is the fact that he willingly offered up the rope. Which, again, could have just been him giving over something he found that he thought might contribute to the case. But if he knew he did something and was trying to pin it upon a specific individual, and he had his suspicions or possibly even knew that the killer was in fact the priest, then it would have been in his best interest to try to make sure that the actual killer did go down for the crime, which would then help them to, you know, get away with it. The thing about that, though, is that, of course, the Peacekeepers had already, you know, framed the kid's father for it. So there would be no need to do that, which does kind of hint that his intentions might have just genuinely been pure in offering the rope, the burnt rope bits that he found in the incinerator. I don't understand why this is even a choice. The only reason why I wouldn't be surprised if some weird way this ended up being the case is just because Kodaka can be very cruel. But I don't believe that this kid has anything to do with anything. There's literally nothing pointing towards it. Unless I'm just blind, which is very possible.
You're accusing me of being the copycat criminal? What the hell? I'll kill your ass!
Now, with her. Once again, with her injury, this particular killing is not impossible for her. She only needed one arm to do it. For the most part. She didn't have to climb and do anything kind of weird. And even nailing the key to the doll and everything wouldn't have been impossible, but it would have been significantly harder without her, you know, access to her dominant hand. But the thing that has me a little bit caught up, and I wish I could remember the exact details of what was said, was that her and somebody else had conflicting details about who they saw going into the woods and when. And that makes me wonder. Now, looking at them from a psychological standpoint, again, it feels like there's a lot of information missing in terms of what their connection to this individual would have been. For her, I mean, she could have been jealous of this person for some reason. Again, maybe the reason that she was jealous of her looks or her ability to entice men or whatever, or maybe she was with one of those men that this person apparently, you know, captivated or whatever, however you want to put it. But that's doing a lot of assuming without any hard evidence to it. Now, it is very possible again, especially because that particular killing happened a month prior to our investigation. It's possible that she actually hurt herself during this act, and that is where the injury comes from. And that is enough time for her hand to still be messed up and not arouse any suspicion with the other the other murders. In fact, of course, it would be a benefit. Does it say on her profile when she got injured? Not that I know of. I can't check it now, unfortunately. But I do remember during the investigation, because I actually did go back and look at that part on my stream. And she didn't give a time frame for when she injured her hand. She just got very weird about it. She started sweating when she was questioned about it. And then when Yuma asked if that was her dominant hand, she refused to answer, and then the larger man confirmed it was her dominant hand, and then afterwards she claimed she hurt herself playing the bass for her death metal choir, which does not seem practical. Not impossible, but to need a sling and for her whole arm to be, you know, in a cast like that from playing any instrument doesn't feel very likely. And her arm in general just kind of feels like Chekhov's gun. That whole trope where if you see something, it's gonna come into play at some point. Like, it's not just gonna be there for no reason. Narratively, it has to come into play. But the thing is, it's very possible that in this situation, the only way it factors in is just to serve as a hint that she was not capable of the killings. The same way that, you know, the other man being larger helped to exonerate him of that accusation as well. But I would say there's a difference between the two, right? Because the man's weight is just a regular coincidental circumstance. It's just his body. Whereas here, they've called attention to the bizarre nature of her injury, which would imply that that would come into greater focus later on under, you know, a clearer scrutiny. I mean, that probably sounds insane. I'm probably overthinking it a lot here, but like I said, I think when you look at the other man, his body is just his body, whereas here they made a point for us to have an awkward conversation in which she was visibly sweating and then gave a completely crazy story for how she got hurt. I don't feel as though that's a coincidence or useless information. So now that we've examined all of them in that manner, I want to try and look at it from the angle that you presented. You said that there is concrete evidence for who the killer is based on what I have already witnessed. Would you say, since I went over the individual pieces of evidence from my case file before, is it one of those that I saw that we just went over that you would say works as concrete evidence? Yes/no. That's an ominous answer. That's curious. Okay, that makes me wonder then. Said evidence, there's technically two, at least two I can think of. Okay, alright, that makes sense. No, the only reason I ask in that fashion is because sometimes there are details that they don't actually log into your stuff that is actually quite useful to the case. Like, I don't think we had an actual individual piece of evidence for the water stain beneath the window in the clock tower, but that was a big part of solving that for me, because then you know that the window was just open for a while. That 100% confirmed, even though it was obvious from other things, that the person used the window as their way out and that it was open for a significant amount of time. One of them was in that list, the other's not, I think. Okay, yeah, so that kind of aligns with what I am saying. Sometimes the evidence is something else that you find that they don't log in the list. The killer's flat looks at the small vent, looks at the none. Well, the vent in this case actually, or the window rather, doesn't have anything to do with it, Naka, because the vent was only relevant to the casino case. This is a different killer. It seems like this killer was only responsible for the third crime scene. And we know for a fact that that killer actually just used the door to get in. So no funny business in terms of how they got in and out. The weirdness was how they got the key back into the room, which we already figured out. By that list, I mean the specific evidence pieces you highlighted and talked about. Got it. Okay, so then let's revisit that school of thought then. So again, we have, besides the motivations, just looking at the actual material pieces of evidence, and for anybody that came along with the raid and is still here and whatnot, I do apologize on doing a lot of yapping right now. This is all part of the investigation process and part of the fun, so hopefully you don't mind me going over all of this. But yes, looking over the actual physical pieces of evidence that we found at the crime scene, just kind of setting aside potential modus operandi, there was the lack of adherence to the other murders, which again does imply that this person may not have been following the case very clearly. Well, I apologize, this is the best part. I do agree. I just know that sometimes it can be a little bit boring to see someone sitting on the same screen just talking. So it's more than just two killers? I mean, it seems like it may just be two killers. Although, I guess maybe you could count the Amaterasu Corporation as accomplices. But they seem to be involved in each of these cases. Need to bring up Augustine's art. Yes, I'm in conspiracy board mode. It's not talking, it's full detective deduction immersion. True. Thank you for the sticky note, Augustine, and thank you for the, well, congratulations, I should say, on stealing my jacket. And thank you for the hydrate. Okay. But yeah, like I was saying when I was talking about the worshipper, whoever did this doesn't seem to know the ins and outs of the case. I so badly want to work on it, but I'm in the final stretch of completing the background. Yes, please give that your full attention. I actually meant to put that in the Discord server because I did see the post you made, but I forgot. Yeah, please don't don't torpedo your focus on the background for you know, any fan art or anything like that. Please, you're so close to finishing it. You got this. But yeah, whoever did it doesn't seem to actually understand the way that the priest was going about the killings, and seems like they might have only understood the urban legend itself. Which again, I do feel would disqualify the worshipper, unless he intentionally, you know, was trying to throw us off his scent, but I do feel like that's just thinking a little bit too conspiracy-minded about it, because ultimately, when you know that he's been at every single crime scene, then changing up the formula would make him look even more guilty than if he would have just done it perfectly, and it would have been much easier for him to frame the priest. Do they really not let you open the evidence on the screen? Yeah, they don't let you look, unfortunately. You're stuck once you get here. But I like my fan art. I like your fan art too, Augustine. But you're so close to finishing the background. So hang in there. Okay. So for now I'm just going to go with the assumption that it is not the worshipper. Based on that detail, which leaves the rest of what we saw there. Now, from the available evidence pool that we have from the scene of the crime, there was the nail in the head of the painting, as well as the other paintings that were nailed and hung around. And they made a point to highlight the one of the woman. And I don't know if that has any particular relevance. But again, there was other paintings nailed around, which leads me to believe that the significance of the evidence is most likely just to illustrate that the person had no idea what they were doing. They thought that just nailing something to the wall would satisfy the requirement of the Nailman urban legend without understanding it had to be the dolls, or that it would actually match the crime scenes of the other crimes. Now, here's the other thing, though. Something I'm curious about. This person knew enough about what was going on, and maybe this answers my question. But this person knew enough about what was going on to know that they needed to fake strangulation. But according to the peacekeepers, strangulation being the cause of death in the cases was not public knowledge. So, if it was someone who had no idea about the other crime scenes and just kind of recreated it poorly, they wouldn't bother trying to fake that detail, right? Because they wouldn't know about it. That is one bit of evidence I forgot to bring up. Which I guess would then cast doubt back onto the worshipper. Because he would be the only one who might have known that from being at the scenes constantly. And once again, you also have the whole paint can situation, which I still don't get what that would be for. And I feel like I should, but... So I don't know, as weird as the logic is, maybe he really did just try to kind of pull a fast one by poorly recreating the scene in the hopes that it would take the heat off of him, which seems counterproductive in my opinion, but maybe he, I don't know, understood that, maybe he understood that them finding the gash in the back of the woman's head would already be enough of an indication that it was a different person. I don't know. In any case, we are well and truly breaking the supposed time limit Shinigami mentioned. To be fair, I think that's more in reference to how long we're in the, like this realm itself, rather than during these sequences. But I could be wrong. At least that's the way I interpreted it, because even during the first case, which we solved in a quote-unquote timely fashion, we were in there for a very long time.
No, it's not me.
I told you already. I have nothing to do with this.
If I recall, there's no game mechanic for the time limit, but I might be forgetting if one appeared later. Yeah, I am curious to see if that ends up happening. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, let me think. Was there any other bits of evidence that I haven't gone over yet? I wish I would have finished writing out that case file. I don't think I got to the third crime scene before I went live, and then I actually figured out who the priest was. You know, the priest was the main killer, and I didn't continue to fill it out. Damn it, I should have done that. Well, a lesson learned for next time, but... Alright, I think I'm just gonna have to take a swing, and if it turns out to be wrong, then it is what it is, but... I'm thinking it has to be this guy, and... Initially I didn't think that clearly from what I was saying, but the reason why I think it now is I completely forgot about that detail. That strangulation being the cause of death for the victims was not public knowledge. The peacekeepers never made that clear to anybody outside of the investigation that that is how the victims were dying. So everybody who heard about it assumed that they were being killed by having the nails driven through them. Therefore, the only person who could have recreated that detail would have been somebody who was there to see. I'm back, sorry for taking so long. What did I miss? First of all, don't apologize for taking a while. You don't have to, you know, be here 24/7. That's perfectly fine. But welcome back, Sally. And as for what you missed, waffling, yeah, pretty much. I'm just discussing all the details about the case, trying to figure out who I think is the second killer. And I'm thinking it's this guy.
No.
You're accusing me of being the copycat criminal?
I told you already.
Alright,
I
well,
have
we're gonna
nothing
go
to do
for
with
it.
this.
And if it's wrong, then it's wrong, and we'll try to re-examine why that may be. You said some pretty good stuff, thank you. I know I'm just yammering a lot, so thank you. But alright, let's go for it.
You are the copycat criminal.
That was it. Nobody but the worshipper who discovered all the bodies in the Nailman knew that the strangulation was used. Well, thank goodness I remembered that detail.
Me? What are you talking about?
Alright, now I have to hear why he did this.
I told you all about the Nailman, and even cooperated with your investigation.
Yeah, to cover your own ass.
And now you think I'm a murderer? Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm not fucking kidding you.
This is crazy. Your investigation isn't worth shit. I'll crush you to dust, you filth!
Alright, here we go. Rest in peace, bitrate.
accuse me of being the culprit? I was just first on the scene! Why do you think I'm a copycat criminal? It could have all been the Nailman! The cause of death was just different each time, yeah? I knew it! In that case... Why accuse me of being the culprit? I was just first on the scene! Why do you think I'm a copycat criminal? It could have all been the Nailman! The cause of death was just different each time, yeah? And even if there was a copycat criminal, why is it me? Irving could be the copycat! The nut could be the copycat! Anyone could have done it! I'll slash through this mystery!
The cause of death in the art gallery was blunt force trauma, faked as a strangling to resemble the Nailman's MO. The murders all being strangulations wasn't made public right away. The only ones who knew that were those who actually set foot on the crime scenes. That includes the Nailman himself, the Peacekeepers, and the first eyewitnesses on the scene. Which means you! You could have committed murder in the art gallery!
Master, after him! Beat some sense into that sensitive, nonsensical phantom!
The what?
For the first on the scene to also be the culprit is rather cliche.
He was always suspicious, but because the real Nailman was someone else, I didn't connect the dots. He was fascinated by the Nailman, and by studying him, he eventually knew more about him than anyone else. Ultimately, he became the Nailman.
It's ironic that he exposed his own crime by knowing too much about the other ones.
Master, the truth is right there! My radar is banging like crazy!
Banging?
Go away! I won't let you! You have the truth!
Looks like we've arrived at the final stage.
If we make him submit, we'll completely solve the mystery labyrinth! Master, don't let your guard down!
Yeah.
There we go. This is turning into a Persona 5 palace by the moment. Yeah. And some Attack on Titan.
Let's do this, Master!
You'll never destroy this port! Damn you! Stop it! Shut up! Damn this! Stop with your lies! Everything was done to the Nailman! I'm not the culprit! accuse me when you have no proof? You didn't even check the crime scenes back then!
You're wrong! Huh? Come on! Thanks to Lars Forte, we were able to see what each crime scene looked like at that time.
My power allows me to see the moment the first witness saw the crime scene. Not the culprit, not the victim, but how it appeared when a third party first entered.
We used post-cognition to gather all the evidence.
Time to end him!
Wrong! Shut up! Stop it! Get away from me! Damn it! Why you? Get away from me! Get away! Get away! Get away! Who cares if you use post-cognition? You only saw what I saw as the first person on scene. No clue will help lead you to the culprit. You're never gonna find the culprit! What you saw is only what I saw the moment the corpse was discovered!
Halara's post-cognition showed us that the paint can at the gallery storage entrance had been knocked over. And according to the art gallery staff member's testimony, that was your doing. You went into the crime scene first, and the art gallery employee behind you noticed you knocking over the paint can. But Halara's post-cognition only shows the scene when the corpse is first discovered. So if you were the first person to find the body, the scene before the paint can fell over would have been recreated. But it wasn't. The paint can had already been knocked over when the corpse was discovered. That means the first person to find the corpse was the art gallery staff member, not you. The reason you didn't count as the first person to find it is because you're the culprit.
There it is.
This is the truth of the case.
So now I wonder what the Peacekeepers are gonna think when these two just drop dead. So Shinigami eats double tonight, huh? Yeah. Yeah, she's gonna be eating good.
Master, finish him! Shove all your evidence into the solution blade and slap as hard as you can!
Proof fatality. All right, here we go. How do I get to the evidence again? Okay, there we go. Alright, do we have the nails? Come on, reticle, please. I'm begging you. There we go. You can also press X. Okay, thank you. Yeah, there we go. What's the culprit tied to the vent? Fishing line. Oh, wrong one. We do not have that one yet. I think you can move it with the D-pad too, I forgot. I don't think so, actually. Yeah, I have to use a little pointer, but this is much easier to work with. Where did the culprit pass the line last? Okay, I misread that. There we go. Like, looking at this is crazy. I want to know why he killed this woman. Was it personal, or was he just trying to, like I said, kind of add his own little page to the story? Because he was that obsessed with the nail man. Which, again, is kind of crazy, because if that is the case, why did he do it in such a sloppy way? Alright, here we go. Now we get to watch it all laid out. Hopefully get some answers.
Step right up, step right up! A series of locked room murders based on an urban legend. Will we discover the true identity of the nail man? Truth bombs are about to be dropped. Time for the deduction denouement.
To solve the mystery of this string of events, we have to know who the nail man is first. The nail man is an urban legend of Kanai Ward. You write down the name of someone you want dead, and drive a nail through it and a doll to a tree behind the church. And the nail man will kill that person for you with a countless number of nails.
A string of murders exactly like that urban legend began half a year ago.
All of the crime scenes featured a corpse and dolls nailed down within a locked room. The first murder happened 6 months ago at a secret club in Kamasaki district.
The victim was none other than the geezer who owned the place, and the cause of death was strangulation. I heard the buy-in to place a bet was pretty steep, and cheating was rampant, so it was obviously a scummy place.
The key to the door was inside the glass. The vent that connects outside looked too high for escape to be possible.
But the culprit used the nails driven into the wall as footholds to climb. The proof? Like the nails that were bent downward.
The vent was not screwed down at the time of the murder, so it could easily be removed and used as an escape.
He did it all with a smile on his face.
The murder happened 3 months ago. It was at a mansion near Ginma district.
The victim was some real estate agent who lived there, and the cause of death was again strangulation.
Did we really need another recap? Well, it's, first of all, it's kind of like, Danganronpa does this to put a final cap on the case, and it's also a pretty old school detective story. to have the detective go over all the stuff once again and lay it out. The repetitive nature of it is more so because it's a video game and we have to go over all this a lot just in case you take breaks between playing and stuff like that, between sessions, and just the nature of having to put all the pieces in place. But I think what they try to do with this is recreate that moment in a detective novel where you kind of have that gotcha moment.
He made a lot of money through shady real estate deals, so of course someone would be out to get him.
The door to the crime scene was the only possible entrance. But the key to that door was underneath the nailed-down victim. After the culprit escaped, some sort of trick was used to get the key back into the room.
Which I also don't mind, because one, this is always my favorite part in Danganronpa games. I love having that light bulb moment of seeing it all come together. But they also do include visuals to show off things that we didn't actually get to see when we were figuring it out. So like if you noticed when I was putting the pieces of evidence in the book, there are visuals to go with like the actual, like the worshipper committing the copycat killing, which we did not have. And even this, we didn't really get to see the priest doing this stuff, we just know he did it. So we actually get to kind of see what they were like when they were doing these things through these still recreations.
A fishing line passed from the vent through the eye socket of the doll and propped up the upper body of the corpse. All that was left was to exit the room, lock it, throw the key in from the vent, and boom! You got yourself a locked room mystery!
Yeah, me too, Emerald.
The key was tossed under the victim from the vent, and once the fishing line was retrieved, the corpse's upper body fell over, completing the crime scene.
The nails on the upper body didn't pierce through completely, so it wasn't nailed down at all.
The third murder happened 1 month ago in an art gallery storage room in Hema District.
The snake's cause of death was blood force trauma. She was a pretty lady who let her looks get to her head, and she got boom killed.
The key to the storage room was nailed to a painting through a doll. Another trick was used to get the key back inside the room here.
The painting with the doll nailed to it was propped up against the window, and then the culprit left the room. They nailed the key to the painting through the window, knocked it over, and bam! All done!
Those are the truths behind the past 3 cases. And now, there's been another murder at the clock tower in Kanai Ward.
The woman's cause of death was strangulation. Since you told that kid you'd take care of it, we gotta solve this case.
The clock tower crime scene is rather high up on the 3rd floor. The door was locked from the inside. The window shutters were also locked. But there was rainwater under the window, and the nails in 2 of the dolls had rub marks.
In other words, the culprit must have hung a rope ladder from the dolls to escape out the window. With my logic, anything is possible.
Why are you imitating Halara? The killer cut their footing on the way down from the window. That way, they could just pull on one side of the rope to retrieve the whole thing.
The shutters come down under their own weight, so they locked once the rope was collected. I'm surprised you noticed the auto-locking feature. You sure love your shutters, Master.
The rope ladder was collected, then burned in the church incinerator, which only clergy have access to.
That's how we know the mailman must be someone from the clergy.
But one question arose from this. The mailman killings share one more characteristic. All the victims were murdered by strangulation. This piece of information wasn't publicized.
The cause of death in the art gallery murder was blunt force trauma. The strangulation marks were added later.
Which means that it was someone mimicking the mailman. But I already know the identity of the copycat killer. First, the mailman must be someone thin enough to pass through the vent.
Someone with the skills to throw the key with precision.
And a clergy member with access to the incinerator.
Priest, you're the nailman!
And the copycat is someone who knows that all of the victims were strangled to death.
Because he was the first witness in each case, the person capable of replicating the mailman's crimes is...
The Worshipper! You're the copycat criminal!
This
Me
is
too.
the truth of the case.
And that's it for them.
What's that?
It's the truth. The soul of the true culprit who built this mystery labyrinth.
I see. It looks otherworldly, but there's an ominous air around it.
Thank you, Halara. I was only able to make it this far thanks to you.
I only kept my part of the deal. You made the right choice hiring me. But I will say one thing. You've taken another step toward being a detective. That much is certain. I, Halara Nightmare, acknowledge you.
Really, Halara? You do?
Alright, all eyes on Shinigami!
What's about to happen?
Oh, isn't it obvious? It's the moment we've all been waiting for! Time to boot kill the bad guy!
Execution time.
Surging bloodlust. Overflowing despair. The brilliant soul of Shinigami.
That is a way of looking at it, Sally, yeah.
Death to all deplorables. Ruin to the vile mystery labyrinth.
So I wonder how it's gonna go when we get back to the real world, because those two are just gonna drop dead. We didn't get to see the first guy die because he wasn't, he was still hiding out in the train. But we were right in front of them. Ah, so Halara's candy takes on a different flavor depending on their mood. Interesting. There they go.
Father?
Are you all right?
What's going on? What happened to those two?
There's no pulse. They're dead.
Dead? What?
What? What is this?
I sure worked hard today. Feels so good to boom kill the murderer.
The mystery labyrinth crumbles when you reap the soul of the true culprit. Then, the cause of the mystery labyrinth's creation pays the price by vanishing with it. I knew the this would happen, but it still hurts to see someone die before my eyes. It's like I killed them myself. No, I did kill them. I killed them with the ruthless blade of the truth.
There. Humans boom kill cows and pigs all the time and eat them. You don't feel bad about that, right? These were the souls of deranged murderers. At least you didn't eat them. If you look at it that way, there's nothing to feel bad about at all.
It's not so simple when it comes to people dying.
Did you people do this? Did you kill them with some kind of poison?
Hey, hold on! I have no idea what's going on here. Too much is happening all at once.
We shall talk at headquarters. Follow me there immediately.
Is it just me, or are things more complicated now than before entering the Mystery Labyrinth?
Oh, you want help? Are you going to rely on me again? Oh, fine. I can't say no when you ask for help.
Everyone!
So, how corrupt is the game's court system? Big corrupt? I don't know about the courts specifically, but the people in charge of pretty much the entire justice system are very, very corrupt. The Amaterasu Corporation runs everything about Kanai Ward, and for instance, they were well aware that the cause of death was different from what they were telling everybody, and that it couldn't have aligned with the man that they accused, because he was deathly afraid of heights, so he could not have been the perpetrator in the Clock Tower murder, but they didn't give a shit. So, and they also tried to frame me in the first case as well. So I can't imagine that the court system is of any true value to achieving any degree of justice, so I don't know where the story is going to go from here in terms of how we're going to deal with the killers, but it kind of seems like the only real way to achieve justice is this execution method, because nothing is going to happen to these people, because they really don't care about actually solving the cases. Yeah, exactly. At least right now, yeah. I do like it, though, because a lot of times stories will kind of, they always find a convenient out. Like, I'm not saying that in a way of, like, I disapprove of it, but just for example, I'll take something that I do enjoy. The Batman series, where Batman conveniently never kills anyone, even though he beats the shit out of people. And you could just imagine that, I mean, every single one of those goons, you mean to tell me that no one hit their head a little too hard when they hit the ground, or had some kind of heart condition or something when Batman beat the ever-loving hell out of them and maybe died? But the idea is that he doesn't kill. And same thing with somebody like Aang from Avatar. They came up with a convenient out so that he wouldn't need to kill the final boss. Yeah, exactly, Augustine, yeah. We're thinking the same thing. He always leaves them with 1 HP left. I love that interpretation, Emerald. Yeah, exactly. So while I'm not saying I have an issue with it, I can understand why they do it, and like the message behind it in those stories. It is kind of a cop-out at times, so the fact that this game is actually putting it kind of before you, that in this particular case, the only way to achieve justice is by accepting that your actions will kill the perpetrators. I actually like that they're not hiding that. Because really, when you look at it through the lens of Danganronpa, it's kind of the same thing, right? Without spoiling anything for people who haven't played Danganronpa, the biggest difference between this game and Danganronpa is that in that series, you're trapped in a death game. And so while you do need to figure out who killers are and stuff like that, you're trying to survive, and you're basically stuck in a location while a psychotic bear is telling you that if you don't kill people, or people don't kill within a certain time frame, then everyone is going to die. There can only be one survivor, etc., etc. Well, once you do figure out who killed somebody, you have to, or once you gather all the evidence, you have to take part in what is called a class trial, where you present the evidence, you debate back and forth with the other survivors, and then once you figure out who it is, you do the same thing that you just saw there. You put all the evidence together, you go over the case, and then you prove beyond a doubt who the murderer was. Once that happens, that person gets executed. And even though it's not by your hand or anything, it's the rules of the game. So you still kind of indirectly are responsible for someone's death by proving that they were the one that killed the person. So this is similar to Danganronpa in that regard, except the biggest difference is you have the narrative out in the form of Monokuma, who executes the killers. So it's not your fault, you're just trying to survive. But in this case, we are, of course, supposed to be on the side of justice. We're not just surviving and fighting for our lives here. We are detectives, but we are also directly responsible for just taking matters into our own hands, so to speak, and having these people get killed. So it does bring up kind of a crisis of conscience, and I do like that. It's more upfront than other stories, always kind of having a way out of what your actions would reasonably create, or result in, rather. Well, you could argue the Labyrinth is a death game. Well, yeah, for sure. But the biggest thing about it that's different is that you didn't get into it on purpose in Danganronpa, whereas we know from the story, at least if Shinigami is telling the truth, that Yuma willingly made a pact with her. So assuming he actually knew what all of this was going to entail, he made that deal knowing full well that working with her would result in death for other people. So that's what kind of changes it up a little bit, because once you're in that labyrinth, yeah, it's either discover the truth or die. But he went into it knowingly, or at least we can assume right now, knowingly that if he made that pact with her, finding the truth through her to these cases would result in people getting killed. So he still is, doing it on purpose. Even if he forgot the reason he made the pact, it was still his decisions that led to this. And that's the biggest difference. The moral weight of your actions is more centered in the story, yes. And that's something that I do like so far about it all. I don't know where they'll go with it from here, especially since, again, we didn't actually have to see the death before of Zilch, because he was still in the train. But we actually got to see the direct result of our actions happen before us. And of course, Halara also understands it now too. So what happens in future cases? How do we compartmentalize this or justify our actions? And this game seems to take a lot of philosophical and artistic looks at the justice system, which I do like. I kind of mentioned before that, like, they actually have, like, the shaky accusations actually take place on shaky ground, right? So when you're trying to figure out certain bits of evidence, the ground will begin to shake, and if your accusations are baseless, then it'll actually give way and make you fall through the floor. A very literal interpretation of it, but they keep doing lots of things like that. For instance, for those of you that weren't there during the first case, Shinigami actually explained that the longer that a case goes unsolved in the real world, basically it ends up, or in the labyrinth, it basically ends up having this effect on people in the real world of making them kind of become like obsessed with it and recreate it and do all these other things, which is interesting because that is what happens in reality. The more that you have certain cases that are unsolved or of a certain degree of severity, they kind of have this mystique about them that makes people continue to either recreate them or reference them and stuff. Take something like the Black Dahlia murder. So they kind of are taking a lot of aspects of real crime and filtering it through this lens of absurdity that this game has. So looking at the whole execution thing makes me wonder if that is a very, like, they're intentionally trying to take the philosophy and the the argument of whether executions in the justice system are, how would you say, whether they're right or wrong, and kind of framing it from this perspective. That makes sense. Like I said, I don't know where they're going to take it, but it is a very interesting dilemma to put at the forefront of the story, if I can talk. Especially when detectives are usually seen as these paragons of truth and virtue. We're bringing the truth, but we are also killing. So, very, very interesting. Does Halara remember the labyrinth? Actually, I don't know. Guess we're about to find out.
Ah, he came back to life!
Sorry about that. You see, I'm actually the mayor.
What?
These are my final words, so I can't lie. I'm the mailman. The worshiper laying there is just a copycat criminal. Search the church for the tools used in each crime. I'm sure you'll find plenty of evidence. If you think I'm lying, go ahead and check it out. Thanks!
I didn't know you could do that.
Excellent analysis, indeed. I also really love the moral dilemma that Yuma encounters just by using the labyrinth. Thank you. Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the biggest things that makes me really, really like this game. Because they could have easily gotten away with not adding that element, but they made a conscious decision to bring that element of morality to the forefront. And again, even though, I have no issues with things like Batman and Avatar, I like them both a lot, quite in fact. Making that decision is a very bold, creative choice. Shinigami is a death god, yeah. And them not shirking away from that is also incredibly impressive, in my opinion. Again, a lot of fiction will kind of cower away from certain details. And I like that they're not doing that here. Like Sally mentioned Persona 5 before, and I was thinking about that too, that the labyrinth reminds me of the palaces. And funny enough, you kind of have a certain, similar outcome in Persona 5, where once you manage to catch the culprits and stuff, and you steal their heart, they end up confessing to their crimes. But again, that's kind of like a convenient out where they may face legal repercussion, but they don't die. Whereas here, we're just going right into the darker side of things. We are responsible for the deaths of these people. But how does that feel, to you as an individual? Does it really matter to you? You could argue, as they say, well, they usually use this in the context of revenge, where they say, dig 2 graves or whatever, but I would say if you're willing to take somebody else's life, then you should understand that there's a very real possibility that you're going to lose yours in the process as well. Either because, trying to kill someone is going to get you killed by the hands of that individual, or, you will face the forfeiture of your life by the justice system, whether that is literal through execution or by spending the rest of your life, or at least a very, very significant part of it, behind bars. So, what is your philosophical stance on that? And it seems like this game is bringing that particular question right to the forefront, and I do appreciate that. It's very different. I've heard the Labyrinths compared to P5 Palaces, but I never played P5. Persona 5 is a very good game, and I do recommend it. But yeah, they are kind of similar. A little less individually constructed as in that game, but that is an RPG, and this is of course, a mystery game. And even though Persona 5 also does count as a mystery game, of course they have different approaches to it, naturally. The one thing I will say is there's a very big mystery in Persona 5 that you can pretty much figure out immediately. That's kind of like the backbone of part of the story. It doesn't make the story any less good because there's a lot more to it, but there's one question that the game has for the majority of it, and you can pretty much figure it out immediately because the game does a very, very poor job of hiding it. This game so far has been far more effective at preserving the mysteries of the various cases, which I do think is, you know, a given, because Kadaka is very good at writing this kind of story, as we know from Danganronpa. Shinigami also echoes that every time where she calls their lives essentially forfeit once they commit crimes. Yeah, exactly.
But that was a super lazy confession. Will it work?
That should do it. We even have witnesses, so this case is closed.
The priest mumbled something, but I couldn't quite hear him. Anyway, everyone here will be taken to Amaterasu Corporation.
Are you kidding me?
What?
It wasn't effective at all.
You're so stubborn. This is why I hate authority.
What do we do?
Wait, I hear something.
Huh? What now?
A motorbike. Something is heading this way at an alarming speed.
It can't be.
Where is that coming from?
There's the Oculus slide.
No. What are you doing here?
Oh shit.
Who are you?
You dare speak so carelessly? Who do you think I am?
The hero who defends peace and order in Kanai Ward. Director of the Amaterasu Peacekeepers. The Honorable Yomi Hellsmile.
The Peacekeeper's director?
So he is the head of the Peacekeepers.
Now you know, small fry. Bow down.
Oh god.
What are you doing here?
No need to be alarmed. Benevolent Director Yomi is here to help.
Loser alert, yeah. Yet another narcissist, yes. And an edgelord to boot.
Oh, excuse me for the late introduction. I am Vice Director of the Peacekeepers, Martina Electro.
She has a superhero name.
She's my beloved right hand. No one else gets to have her.
What's with him?
Master, be careful. This Yomi guy is dangerous.
Huh?
I've never seen anyone emit such a dangerous aura before.
He's that bad?
So, what brings you here?
Oh, right. I was so focused on my beloved right hand that I completely forgot.
There's a joke somewhere in there, but I'm not gonna make it. I'll just let you figure it out for yourselves.
As mentioned earlier, Director Yomi is here to help. I hear you've been troubled by Seth's unreasonable treatment. Is that right?
Huh?
Director Yomi. What's going on here? Why am I...
We have discovered you've been receiving sizable kickbacks for facilitating donations meant for the church. We now know why you were so desperate to clean up all the Nailman killings. After all, it would be troublesome to lose access to all that money if the priest was arrested as the Nailman.
Wait, please. Director Dr. Yomi, I did this under your orders.
I was wondering when they were going to throw that
Did you
away.
say something? Because I didn't hear a thing.
I only did this because you ordered me to.
Seth, you make me sad. I'm the hero and defender of peace in this city. My peacekeepers are proud soldiers of that mission. And yet, you let yourself be corrupted. How could you? Seth, for the sake of the peacekeepers and the peace of Kanai Ward, die.
Taking advantage of your position as a peacekeeper executive is a serious crime. The punishment must be severe.
But...
Yeah, I'm annoyed my own underling would betray me like this. I'm so annoyed, I'd go insane if I didn't toy around with my beloved right hand.
This has to be on purpose, right? Anyway, not gonna lie, I did feel bad for Seth here. I mean, to an extent, but he had no problem doing it to the poor kid's father, so you reap what you sow.
It's an honor.
He's terrible. Like a lizard cutting off its own tail to survive.
Someone like him is in charge of the Peacekeepers?
Don't look him in the eyes. Don't talk to him either. If possible, don't even breathe the same air as him. Though it's probably too late for that.
Well then. To our shit-for-brains friends playing detective. Looks like I have to give you a warning. Know your place in my city and stay there. Follow the rules and don't disturb our peace. Or I'll need you to die!
In this city, Director Yomi is both the law and the peacekeepers itself. Defying us means you defy law and order. You will receive fitting treatment for such behavior.
Before, you were insignificant specks of dust. But now that you've banded together, you've become an eyesore. Detectives, my ass. Little shits.
Wow. That's not very nice.
Fucking asshole. Oh yeah, Yomi being a self-proclaimed hero and all adds another layer of it, yeah.
Let's go, my beloved right hand.
Yeah, go play with your right hand,
Yes,
bitch.
Director Yomi.
Looks like we've been targeted by someone dangerous.
Yeah, thanks to you. One wrong move and it would have been all over. You got that?
I'm sorry, but...
No buts. None. How did this happen anyway?
Laura, help me out. Please explain what happened. You said you acknowledged me as a detective, didn't you?
What? When did I say that?
Huh?
It's such a shame, Master. Everything that happens in the Mystery Labyrinth gets forgotten.
Well, I guess Laura doesn't remember anything. Thank you for making him leaving more funny than intimidating.
What?
Hilara's memory must have been wiped after entering and leaving the labyrinth. Nothing inside the Mystery Labyrinth can be taken into the real world. Not even memories. Unless you have a contract with yours truly, that is.
But... I thought Hilara and I had finally reached an understanding.
Yeah, agreed.
Up until you enter the Mystery Labyrinth are retained, like the debt you owe for your assignment.
That's awful!
Hey, Yuma, are you listening? You better make sure this doesn't happen again.
By the way, Chief, our submarine office is tipping over. Are you sure the Peacekeepers didn't mess with it?
Are you
What?
serious?
Seriously? I have to go back and repair it. Yuma, help me out. Follow me.
Yuma, it was supposed to be time for your solution, but we've ended up in a mess.
Huh? Yeah.
Before they could be accused, the true culprit suddenly died. It's my first time dealing with such a thing. Still, I do remember this. You did your absolute best to try and solve the case.
Huh?
You should be proud.
Oh, Laura.
Look, the chief is calling for you. You should go.
Right. Thank you.
The highest of praise. They winked at us, yeah. We won at life.
Are you serious? A Peacekeeper executive was taking bribes from the church?
If Director Yomi said so, it would be considered the truth, even if it isn't.
What about the priest being the nailman?
It's going to be publicly announced as the truth. It appears the priest's strong desire to save others turned him into the nailman. He saw
AKA
people
Savior
wishing for
Complex.
revenge as they hammered those nails in the forest, and decided he needed to save them.
Exactly.
That was the motive, though it could all be a story made up by the Peacekeepers.
So what about the kitty cat criminal?
You mean the copycat?
That one was already publicized as well. They say the copycat did it out of admiration for the real nailman.
And in the end, he felt so much guilt that he poisoned himself? None of this really makes any sense.
It sure didn't look like death by poison to me.
It's me! I did it along with that detective kneeling in penitence over there.
Nah, Yako, Detective Halliwell came to the same psych profile.
It would make more sense to assume Yomi killed them somehow. Especially when you consider the timing. He'd do it without batting an eye.
Yomi Hellsmile, the director of the Peacekeepers, the leader of our enemy.
I heard he rode in on a dragon.
No, it was a motorcycle.
From what I've investigated, the Peacekeepers' influence is gaining ground at Amaterasu Corporation. And there's some sort of power struggle going on. Seems like they're getting their way internally. I hear that their boss, Yomi, is extraordinarily dangerous.
Extraordinary. So he is very normal? How scary.
It's only a matter of time until the Peacekeepers gain complete control of the corporation. When that happens, they might outright attack the World Detective Organization.
Perhaps the WDO made its move because they saw the warning signs. If that's the case, it could have something to do with Kanai Ward's ultimate secret.
Oh yeah, what's the deal with Kanai Ward's ultimate secret? We still know nothing about it, huh?
It doesn't seem to have anything to do with the mailman incident. I wonder what it could be.
I like how Kodaka still managed to sneak in the word ultimate to something. Because for those that may not know, in Danganronpa, each of the characters is the ultimate something or other. Like, they have a title. So like in Danganronpa V3, you're playing as a character that is dubbed the Ultimate Detective. There are characters that are like the Ultimate Anthropologist and things like that. It's supposed to be kind of like a designation for like their specific I guess, occupation or hobby or status. And it factors into things like the theme of their execution and their behavior and stuff like that. So that's been notably absent from this game, so it is kind of funny to see that he still found a way to sneak it into some form in this game.
Sheesh, so much to deal with. This sounds exhausting.
Didn't I tell you that from the start?
We have to obey directives from number 1, no matter how difficult they are.
Well, we got some very talented master detectives gathered here. I'm sure it'll be fine. So much... No. Everything changes from now on. Yuma, you can take a seat now.
My legs feel numb.
Don't stick your neck out recklessly from now on, for everyone's sake. Got it?
Got it.
Hey, we worked super hard. I'm so stressed I could die. Oh wait, but I can't die.
Do we have a visitor? That's rare. Yuma, can you go get it?
Sure.
Well, first let me save, if I can. All doorbells give me anxiety, yeah. Especially, have you seen that video that was going around recently of the guy in California that rang the guy's Ring doorbell, screaming and attacking the guy's door? I haven't. It was pretty crazy. I'll try to find it and see if I can post it in the Discord. He was wearing a Demon Slayer t-shirt, and I don't know what the deal was, because I've heard apparently they think he was having potentially like a psychotic episode, but I don't know if that was true or if it was the full details, but it was pretty crazy. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens like that. And I myself have had pretty crazy things happen literally right outside my door, so I totally understand. Alright, so we dropped a save. Let me talk to everybody first before I go open that.
Oh.
I'm back. What did I miss? I forgot I had it set to auto. I didn't even read what he said. How far back did you step away? And welcome back, by the way, Augustine. Someone's here, right? Maybe you should get the door. They might get fed up and go home.
I see.
A visitor, could it be?
Maybe.
Do you have an idea of who it is? Perhaps it is the kitty cat you mentioned earlier. Not kitty cat, copycat. Anyway, that guy already committed suicide.
Oh?
Oh, truly? My apologies, I do so often forget things. Like 15 minutes. So did you see when we reaped the souls of the 2 killers? I don't think I've had anything as dangerous happen, but indeed had a belligerent someone at my door recently. It's very anxiety-inducing. I'm sorry you had that. I'm sorry you had that. Please stay safe, Emerald. I really, really don't like hearing that. Please be safe. Yeah, so did you see when that guy showed up? Yomi? Guy with red hair, wears his jacket in a very stylish way, and he was with a woman wearing glasses. Did you happen to see that?
Hey.
The visitor. It could be the peacekeepers.
Dude.
Oh, they may be after us for what happened today. Yeah, be careful. You're not going to help?
I don't work for cheap.
I could, but how much can you pay? Right. Thanks, sorry, why are you apologizing? You didn't do anything. I just want you to be safe is all. That sucks, we mainly get missionaries, but I have a history with them, so they freak me out. How kind of you. I didn't think you'd come check on me too. But you should probably check on the visitor instead. They might get mad and go home.
Yes.
Right, got it. Alright, let's talk to the boss real quick. Probably more of the same, but... Visitor. Who could it be? Yuma, can you go get it?
Oh!
Oh, sure. Master, you're like a little servant boy. I think any strangers coming to the door with intention sucks. Yeah. Oh, it's the kid.
It's you!
My dad is back safe at home. It's all thanks to you. Thank you for helping us.
No, I just... Well, I'm happy for you.
Aw, look at you getting thanked. You were on your knees just a moment ago.
Be quiet.
Oh, there's one more thing I want to ask you.
Yep, luckily it was just a kid. When I played this, I thought it would be someone dangerous. Yeah, I was expecting another threatening visit from the Peacekeepers. Yeah, my reactions are generally unnecessary. I'm not sure what lore I missed, but it sounds like we've been through it. Yeah, so, oh, you mean in reference to us and our histories with people at the door, yeah. But as a general thing, just in case you didn't see that scene, the head of the Peacekeepers did show up with a woman he refers to as his right hand, and they took away the guy Seth that was threatening us and trying to cover up the case, and then threatened us to basically step away from doing anything of relevance or we would be in a lot of trouble. They'd kill us basically or have us killed. Then he spat in Yako's face and left. So that's pretty much what you missed in terms of major story stuff. So we kind of have a large-scale antagonist revealed. Also, his right hand, yeah, it seems like they are lovers of some kind. So, take that for what you will. I already made a statement about that, but I'm not going to make the... not going to connect the dots on that one.
What is it?
Did someone else die or something? Will you play catch with me?
Oh, that's so cute.
Catch? But it's raining. Actually, sure. Let's play. The unending rain. My memories still seem like faraway raindrops. My hands still have yet to grasp a single thing. I'm still lost. Is it all right for me to be here? But with the one baseball gripped in my hand, my heart somehow feels lighter. Why I wanted to be a detective. It could have been for the sake of something so small that it fits in my hand. Maybe
Maybe I should give myself credit for this small realization. So, for just a bit longer, I think I'll keep pretending to be a detective.
Case 1 closed. There's a catch to this minigame to the death. Hey, I didn't do too bad, I don't think. I definitely feel like I did much better than with the first case. Or at least the case from the prologue. Still room for improvement, but I'm glad that I was able to deduce everything in the end, despite the endless amounts of analysis it took to get there. I believe you got an S in Chapter 02. Did I? Maybe I did. Oh yeah, I think I did, because I was like, I can't believe they actually gave that to me, because I felt like I did a much worse job there. But just in terms of how I put everything together, I do feel like I did a better job here. It was a fun ride regardless, thank you.
Unpainted faces in uniform by the window. This isn't the real me. With that, a hand reaches out and misses the stars grazing off dusk. In the shadow of the school after class lies the remnants of everything someone has lost.
Is this Hope's Peak Academy? We were thinking the same thing. A silent curtain call. This is going to be very interesting because if the culprit of this murder turns out to be a teenager, that is likely going to affect Yuma even more when we end up having to kill them. What are you running from?
Morning, everyone.
That looked like someone with an Ohage died. Yeah.
Oh? Chief, you look so clean cut today. You look just like Halara.
That is Halara. How could you mistake the two of them?
Oh, you're right. What a wonderful surprise.
The chief was gone by the time I got here. It's way past our meeting time.
Is that old man doing? He always nags others when they're late.
Chief suddenly went missing. According to my deduction, his chopped up corpse will be shipped here in a cardboard box.
That's horrible! what happened to Chief Yako.
Halara is next in command. I mean, Halara is definitely the person I would nominate for next up for boss if something happened to Yako. So dirty. Alright, let's make a quick save. I guess he's gonna be our companion this chapter.
Yeah.
I'm just getting to a good part in this book. Do you mind waiting?
You know,
Vivia doesn't care at all, huh? Oh, I know. Why not have a nice little picnic until the chief returns? We could eat lunch under the great big sky. The rain would feel so lovely. Fubuki, I don't really want to go out in the rain. Fubuki is such an airhead. That's what makes her so cute. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. This guy really looks like he's going to commit a crime one of these days. So he's crushing on Fubuki, huh? Guys, I'm going to bed. I'll see you next time. Have fun and take care. Thank you so much, Sally. Please have a good rest and thank you for being here. Glad you got to see the finale of that case. Yes, please rest well. Have a great rest of your night. It's actually pretty much coming up on time for me to stop as well because I have something pretty significant I need to tend to tomorrow. Yeah, it was fun as hell. Take care, everyone. Yes, indeed. You too. Let's finish looking around a little bit, talking to everybody.
Seeing that the chief's raincoat isn't here, he must have gone out. The desk drawer is slightly open, and the loose change inside is gone. It wasn't a significant amount of money, just enough to do some shopping. Considering that the refrigerator is empty, he most likely went out to get breakfast.
That's correct, Laura. Chief Yako said he's grabbing breakfast before everyone got together. He asked me to tell everyone, which is why I just did.
A little late, but thank you, Vivia.
Why didn't you tell us earlier?
Oh, so no chopped up corpse then.
you're so perceptive, Halara.
With my logic, anything is possible.
Wow, you are like a real detective.
Everyone here is a real detective. Well, there is one trainee who wandered in here.
What a jerk! I'm the only one who's allowed to pick on Master. One of these days, I'll get back at that shorty detective. I'll turn him into a wax doll or something.
Whoa, look at her mouth.
Even if he's a trainee, he's still a detective. We don't discriminate here.
What, you're on the rookie side? He's a trainee who doesn't even have a detective deed. No way am I gonna recognize him as a real detective. Right, Vivia?
Huh? Oh, there's no need to worry. I ate breakfast before coming over here.
You're not even listening.
I wonder why the chief is taking so long.
Maybe he's in line at a stall for some meat buns. He's always eating that stuff.
It is Kanai Ward's specialty. Adults and children alike seem to love it in the city. I have witnessed people line up at the meat bun stalls in both the Kamasaki and Gima districts.
Everyone looks so gloomy around here because they eat that crap like a bunch of country bumpkins. Hey, rookie, go make something for the chief. You're good at cooking, aren't you?
Actually, I don't think we are.
Actually, due to my amnesia, I can't make anything tasty.
What? Oh, you're useless, rookie.
I'm the only one who gets to call Master useless!
Jeez, everything about this town is so dark and gloomy. It's making me go insane. I step outside and I get rained on. All I hear are raindrops. There's no good music anywhere. Oh, I know. What this town needs isn't truth or justice. It's high-quality entertainment.
Throw this guy in the spider pit. Detsuhiko not making a positive impression right now as our next partner. No, he's not. Though I do like that he seems to be like there's some interesting layers going on right now with him. Like, it's interesting that they're putting on display that, like, the state of the city with the rain and just the overall depressing atmosphere clashes so hard with his personality. I do find it interesting because it's a very stark contrast to Halara and how they were very, you know, composed and analytical about everything. So I am kind of interested to see how a more emotional character will express themselves with the state of everything. We should jump straight to partnering up with Vivia. Yeah, I am actually very curious to see how the case is going to go where we partner with him.
That's where I come in. It's time for me to blow some minds with my debut.
Debut?
I'm a singing, dancing, superstar detective. My beautiful voice will echo throughout this town. I'll show him what true entertainment looks like. I'm just doing this to breathe some life into this gloomy city. Not because I want to pick up chicks or anything.
Oh my god.
No one asked, and he's already making excuses. Such typical behavior for a liar.
I just like that he's purple and green, the two best colors. He does have a cool color scheme.
Oh, that reminds me. I just wrote a new song. I'll grace you all with it right now as a special treat.
All right, let's hear it. What have you got?
Oh, come on! Always have the worst timing!
These morning chases are killing me.
What on earth happened to you?
Looks like there's something going on here.
What happened, Chief?
It's the Peacekeepers. They've been trailing me ever since I left. I was running to get them off my tail, but they refused to let up. Oh, that's the most running I've done in a while. And my back is killing me.
So they just trailed you? Why not let them do it?
Like, I want to go on an early morning date with some Peacekeepers? Not interested.
Sorry if you can hear that. There is a plane overhead, I think. Let me mute the mic for a second.
Besides, it'd be one thing if they just want to follow me, but there's a chance they'll make an attempt on my life.
Just for walking around? There's no way.
I don't know about that. It looks like they've gotten serious ever since the Nail Man case.
I don't think we heard it, no worries. Okay, thank you. Yeah, it just passed overhead anyway, so hopefully that wasn't the case.
Sorry.
We have more stuff to worry about than just Kanai Ward's ultimate secret. I think we should lay low for a while. Well, the WDO never said we had to discover it by a certain date.
Hear no planes? Okay, good. So it was quite loud over here.
Let's lurk in the bottom of the river until things settle down. Hey, yeah, that's for the best. Let's go with that.
So passive, as usual. While we're hiding, we could lose what we've built here. No, it's not my style to just wait for the opponent to make their move. I'm taking the initiative.
You tell him, Emerald.
Hey, hold on, Halara. Where do you think you're going?
There's something I want to look into. There's no need for concern. No matter how many peacekeepers come after me, I'll be fine.
I guess that's that.
Sorry, had to respond to something.
Halara will be fine. I just don't want to get dragged into any trouble. Jeez, master detectives are all so selfish.
We can hear you.
Well, good. I hope you all learn some self-restraint.
Should I go keep an eye on Halara? Just to make sure no fights break out.
You, Fubuki? That'd actually make me more worried.
That's a great idea. Yes, Fubuki, please go team up with Halara.
Roger that. Off I go. The exit is over here.
Are you sure sending Fubuki is a good idea?
Despite how she acts, Fubuki has one of the strongest powers of all master detectives. She'll be great help in times of trouble.
The strongest?
Is that sheltered skink really that amazing? She sure doesn't look it.
Jesus Christ.
Time for us to go to. We need to find some girls that, clues.
I just asked you to show some self-restraint.
Oh, don't worry. I'm the ultimate master detective. I won't cause any trouble for you.
Are you sure?
What? I'm not so weak that I need some rookie worrying about me. My powers make me the best there is in deceiving prying eyes.
I forgot Shinigami beefed with Fubuki so much. Yeah, she really doesn't like her.
Not even the Peacekeepers stand a chance.
Deceiving?
Oh, fine. I guess I'll put on a special show just for you.
Alright, let's see it.
1 minute. Who knows how many days it took God to create the world? But I can change everything in just 1 minute. Check this out.
You're setting expectations very high.
What's going on in the bag? I'm hysterical.
Ta-da!
Wow, that is impressive.
Huh? Tetsuhiko? Wow, you totally look like Chief Yako.
Very interesting. 1 minute. 1 minute is all the time I can spare, or however the line goes.
What do you think? The perfect disguise, huh? Mastery of disguise is my forte.
You're thinking of Wesker and RE5 with his 7 minutes line.
And your voice, too. I didn't think your disguise would be so good.
Really? I think I'm far more handsome than that.
My backpack has tons of different tools inside. Using them allows me to disguise as anyone pretty much perfectly.
Yeah, I thought I heard it in DBD. I wouldn't even doubt it. The ability reminds me of a character in Danganronpa
And there you have it.
who could do something very similar.
Not only can you change your voice and looks, but your height and build, too.
I'll have you know that this isn't magic or some cheap copycat ability. This is my disguise. It's a highly refined technique. Disguises don't have to be exactly perfect. Any flaws can be covered by matching the overall impression.
I like that Yako's voice actor did a great job sounding like Tetsuhiko imitating Yako. Yeah, I love when stuff like that happens.
In short, I just need to imitate the subject visually and psychologically. To be honest, it does put a huge strain on my body, though.
I thought the shorty detective was all talk, but this kid ain't bad.
Bro can work at the police as an undercover cop at this point, yeah.
Guess he's not totally useless like you are, Master.
So it's interesting because that is a downside, that it does put strain on his body. So I can kind of envision some ways that this might be useful during an investigation, but we do need to keep that in mind.
So you get it now? With my disguise ability, the Peacekeepers will never be on my tail. Anyway, I'm off to pick up some babes. I mean, work the case. Kinma District. There's no shortage of cuties.
Oh dear.
Hey! Master detectives are all so selfish. The WDO needs to teach them cooperation.
Cooperation?
She called her own master useless with a hesitation. Yeah. She seems to like doing that, but she stated she's the only one allowed to do it. I think when they were talking about how they got Yuma's info in the prologue, Tetsuhiko implies he did disguise himself to get the info. Ah. Very interesting.
I'm sure Halara and Tetsuhiko are confident working alone. If I want to become a detective, I have to gain the same confidence they have. But it feels like I'll never get there at this rate. What's the matter, Shinigami? You never look so serious.
I just realized something. There's so much you can do if you can disguise yourself as anyone. Like, you know, everything.
This reminds me, because based on what I'm assuming she's getting at, it reminds me of that scene in the live-action Scooby-Doo movie when Fred ends up switching bodies with Velma. Or is it Daphne? I think it's Velma, and then he's like, I can look at myself naked or whatever. That's what this reminds me of.
You're thinking about something awful again.
Awful? I just have a bit of a mischievous nature is all. How rude!
Oh god, that scene. Yeah, I haven't thought about that movie in a long time.
You don't respect the rights of a dead god! I feel attacked! Maybe I'll just take off and go haunt someone else. Yeah!
By the way, Chief Yako, what should I do?
Well, we may have to hole up here for a while. So, I'm gonna need you to clean this room. We might as well have it tidied up while we're in here.
Which, I mean, it was something I definitely thought at the time, despite seeing that movie as a kid, but that was a super inappropriate joke for a kid's movie.
You want me to clean the room? Isn't that more of a job for a housekeeper rather than a detective?
Trust me, this is also part of a detective's duty. I'm counting on you, Yuma.
Fine.
Alright. So he wants to claim this is going to be part of my training Karate Kid style then, I guess. Yuma got promoted to housekeeper. I guess it's better than being a sentient question mark. Alright. Hold on. Alright, thank you all for being here today. I have to call it quits here for now. Got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. So I will not be live, unfortunately. Friday is up in the air, and Saturday I wanted to do the game night for the community, but I do need to see how things go tomorrow, because if I'm not able to commit to it by tomorrow night so I can start promoting it and letting everybody know, then Saturday I'll probably just end up doing a regular stream, unfortunately. So we'll see how it goes, because I do want to give everybody ample time to know what's going to happen. And Friday is up in the air because I do want to support Callisto with her model debut. So I may not go live unless maybe if she is live a little bit later, then I can sneak in a stream earlier and then we can raid right into her. So we'll see how that goes. But yes, let me see who is live that we can raid into. Thank you for the stream, of course. I wish I could have gone a little bit longer, but some things did pop up, unfortunately. I'm excited for the model debut. Yeah, me too. Glad she's finally getting one. Okay, I think... Sorry, I was trying to decide between two people. I was gonna raid into Mistlock, but she is still in the just starting screen. So I don't know if, yeah. Alright, so we're gonna raid into Spooky Sushi instead. She is apparently doing some writing and reading. So, yeah. We're gonna raid into her. As usual, you all know the raid message is Hallie Raid with your choice of emotes. And that is what we will be doing. Thank you all for coming today. Had a lot of fun with all of you. I'm glad we solved that first case, and I'm very much looking forward to what will come next and getting to see what Desuhiko is like. That'll be fun. So yes, I will see you all next time, whenever that is. I will be in communication with all of you via Discord and Blue Sky. And hopefully it won't be too long before my next stream, because I'm gonna miss all of you. But yes, until next time, please take care of yourselves, sleep well, eat, do all that good stuff, and take care of yourselves first and foremost. Stay spellbound.